You want to make that first crore? It is hardest. It may take 10 to 14 years. Yes, because you have to move from the bylane to the road. From the road, you have to move into the expressway or the ORR. But once you are on the ORR, you you go very fast. Then like less number of years, and from 4 to 5, from 5 to 6, it may take you even months. Months. Yes. So if you want to make that first crore, you better watch this video till the end. And if you already made a few crores, you are thinking you're already on the fast lane, you are already on the ORR or you are on the expressway. Remember, one flat tire can stop your car. One flat tire or some problem in your driving can actually take you out of that fast lane. So even you watch. Why it is important to for people who have already made a few crores to be careful. Yes, this is what I'm going to cover in today's video. I'm going to actually take you a real life example of one fund in the last 25 years. Yes, it is 25 years because if you are a young family in your 30s, you still have 30 years for your retirement. And if you be patient, you will grow your wealth exponentially in the next 15, 20 years. So you must be patient. It's very important the first 10, 15 years. So stay till the end. You will enjoy. It is mind blowing to know that you can make crores in a few months. It was mind blowing for me when I saw the numbers. I'm sure it'll be mind blowing for you. Hi, I am Franky Fernandes. I'm a certified financial planner and I'm also a certified marriage coach. I believe both are very important for you: your marriage, your relationship, and your money. You cannot have one and not the other. And that's been my mission. And towards that mission, my wife and I have launched Harmony and Money, a community to help young families to get out of debt, to get out of from bylanes and from gullies and move into the freeway, the expressway, the highway. And on Sundays at 7 p.m., I conduct a free webinar to take you through to a 90-minute webinar to take you through what are those three secrets and then introduce my community. So I hope to see you there. You will find the link in the description. So let's get into today's video. So what I'm going to cover in today's video is I'll take you through one fund. As I said, there are several funds, but this is one fund that I'm going to take you through. I'll take you through the SIPs, normal SIP and step up SIP. The normal SIP, that is 15,000 per month, and step up SIP is every year it increases by 10%. The SIP amount increases by 10%. And we'll compare both these things and we'll see when do you achieve your first crore, both in the normal SIP and the step up SIP, and what is the difference, and then on how the wealth accumulation accelerates. It's phenomenal. It is wonderful to see this. And as a young family, you must watch this. You must implement this in your life. So let me share with you the actual fund. Here is ICICI Prudential Large and Mid Cap. Now, this is one of the oldest funds, which has completed more than 25 years. So I took this data. So amount invested is 40, f- yeah, 46 lakhs. So 15,000 is the SIP and 307 times in the last 25 years. So here is the amount invested, and this is the current value, right? So there is a growth of 5.83, and we will take a look at how we move from 1 crore to 2 crore to 3 crores. And here is the return, almost 17% CAGR, compounded annualized growth rate. Okay. So a disclaimer, this, I'm not asking you to buy this fund. This is not a recommendation of this fund. This is just showing you there are several other funds here. In my last video, I've done HDFC Flexi Cap. So there are other Flexi Caps, there are large cap funds, there are large mid caps funds. So there are several types of funds. If you want to know what are all the other funds in the last 25 years, they've given more than 15% returns, let me know in the comment box. I'll share with you the fund names. But again, disclaimer, these are not recommendations. These are just, I'm using these funds to do my analysis. And so here is the, so this is what is the, so what I've done is that I have taken the same thing here and I have shown here 15, and I have done my own calculations so that I can share with you uh, when we reach the first crore, then the second, third, and fourth crore till 6 crores, right? So, so 2017, January 2000 was the first investment of 15,000, and this was the value then. And so if you see the first 50 lakhs came in, the 50 lakhs came in 7 years, right? And more than 7 years. But the first crore came here in 2014. That is 14 years it took for the first crore. Yes, you have to wait patiently. And this fund also has given fairly good returns. So if you have a good fund, you you are likely to receive this. But this is the past numbers. So in the future, we do not know. I will talk a little bit about the future, but we are now seeing the past. Okay, and the past will help us to know how we can, what we can expect in the future. Okay, so this is the first crore, that is in 2014 March. Then the second crore comes in 2018, 4 years later. Of course the market also plays a role, not just the SIPs, but the market also plays a role. So 4 years later, then the third crore came in 2021, that is 2019, 20, 21, 3 years later, or a little more than 3 years later, 3 years, 8 months, right? Then the fourth crore came in July 2023, which is 22, 23, 2 years. Then the fifth crore came in 24, that is less than a year. So July, we've not even completed a year, because this is when the markets were very bullish, going up 2023 to 2024. And then the 6 crore comes again in less than a year. That means in 2024 itself, you have jumped from 5 crore to 6 crores. And how does it happen? I'll talk about it. I'll explain it in the future. Wait till the end. How it happens. If you don't still have a clue, I will share with you. Just wait. So this is what, of course, the markets fell here. So from 6 crore, it came down to 6 crore 28. It came down to even 5 crore, 5.5 crore. It is now currently at 6.31 crore. Just a matter of time when it hit 7 crores. So here is a summary. The SIP amount is 15,000. Start date is 17/1. The first crore came in 14 years. Second crore came in around 4 years, less than 4 years. The third crore came in again less than 4 years. The fourth crore less than 2 years. And the fifth and the sixth crore came in months, less than 1 year. How powerful. Now, as I mentioned, we'll come back to how is it that each year the next crore takes less time, and I will talk about it. It is both. Obviously, it all began with the SIP, and now it is the NAVs. So it all began with the SIPs, and from the SIPs came the units, and the units, and now the NAV. And then there is this fourth component, which I'm going to talk about, which actually gives this jump, exponential jump. So now we will look at a step up SIP and we'll compare both of these. So here is the step up, the same 17/1, 17/1 2000. So 15,000 is the SIP amount. And then every year, the SIP amount is increased by 10%, so 16,500. Okay. And if you see here, here it is 18,150. So every year the SIP is increased by 10%. So let's take a look at when do we accumulate our first crore, when we do step up SIP. So the first crore is on 15 September 2010. That means it took 10 years. Earlier, in our earlier example, it took 14 years. So it took 10 years. So you saved 4 years. And then the second crore came in 2014. That is 4 years later. And then 2017. another crore 3 years later, and here 2010 3 years later. But then it's it's less than 1 year, and here within the same year, from 5 to 6 crore, and from 6 to 7 crore again. It took 2 years and 8 crores within a year. So within a year, almost within a year, less than a year, from 7 crore to 15 June, with just 13 months, it has reached from 7 crore to 11 crore. That means in the same year, or in 12 months, it has moved from 7 crore to 11 crore, 4 crores. And finally, today it is 12 crore on June 2025, because last year the markets fell and it did not jump from 11, it went up to 10. And now it is back to 12. So 12 crore. Let's take a look at the summary. So here is the summary. The first crore took 10 years. The second crore took 4 years. Then the third and fourth crore took 3 years. Then the fifth and the sixth crore took less than a year. Seventh crore took a little more time because the markets actually were flat. But then every crore, if you see here, from 8 to 12 crores, it is within 2 years. 8 to 12, 4 crores in 2 years. This is something like magic. So, this is something like magic. This is the reward for patience. This is the reward for trust. This is the reward for being faithful every month doing your SIPs. You want to see such numbers in the future? I cannot promise you, I don't know. But here the returns were around 16, 17%. I don't see it as impossible in mutual funds. On an average, the market gives 15%. Probably it may give you maybe 14, 13%. And instead of 18%, mutual funds may give you 15%. But still, you can still make, grow your wealth, can add 1 crore every year, or 2 crores every year after a number of years. How is this magic? How it happens? As I mentioned, the number one thing is the time. The more time you give, the more compounding happens. And because mutual funds have given phenomenal returns, obviously the compounding happens faster and exponentially. But why from 5 to 6 or 6 to 7 it happens quickly is because of the base. And let me show you. So look at the 10 crore. Look at 10 crores. How 10 crores became 11 crores in 2 months? It is because of the base. So the NAV was 861, that is here, and now the NAV is 951. So if you compare, if you take 951 divided by 861 minus 1, it has gone up by 10%. The markets have probably have gone up by 10% in a couple of days. Now, what 10% magic it does to your investments? Now, here what has happened? This is 10%. This is 10 crore. Now, 10 crore, if you make give it 10%, how much it becomes? 11 crores. 10%. So 10% of 10 crores is 1 crore. And that's why it goes up. And that's why your first crore takes time because you're still accumulating that 15,000, 15,000. Your base is very low. But once your base becomes big, and every little addition will give you a crore. And that's why it is said the rich become richer because their base is very huge. So if you target and make your base large, your base for your investments, for your assets, then it's just a matter of months, not even years, for you to receive 1 crore subsequently. But it's hard work. Hard work is the first 10 to 14 years, you have to really work hard. Was this something very insightful for you? Did you learn something? Let me know in the comment box. What did you learn? What was so exciting about this? The exciting about this, few crores getting added to your portfolio. And same thing can happen in lakhs. If you have 50 lakhs, 10% will make it 5 lakhs additional. A crore, 10% will make it 10 lakhs. You see the power? And then it's 10 crores will make to a crore, 10% rise. So if you want to make that 1 crore, it'll take time, but be patient. From 30 to 40, maybe 40 or 45 years, by the time you see your first crore. If you are only investing 15,000, if you're investing 30,000 per month, it'll be half the time. So that first crore will take you time. You have to move from the by lanes to the road to the expressway, or probably from the highway to the expressway. So it takes time. But once you are on the expressway, your journey will be fast. And now, what about those who already have a few crores? What can happen? What can be a flat tire? What is it that can make it a flat tire? Many things. Why is it that people are not able to make that first crore? Because between 30 and 45, most of most of the young people are are deep into debt, loans, because they have taken loans. The moment you take loans, your 1 crore will not happen in 10 years. If you do a step up SIP, it may take you 20 years, just because you are not investing enough. Just imagine, instead of 15,000, you do half the amount, 7,500 per month, and you increase every year by 10%. You know when you will get your first crore? In 2020. It'll take 10 more years. Just because you took out your SIP of 7,500 and made it into an EMI. That EMI probably would have got you a car or something else. And what you lose is 10 years. 10 years it takes you to get to your first crore. Another 10 years. That means in 2020 you will get your first crore. And just imagine later on what happens. So if you are, instead of saving regularly as an SIP, you replace that with an EMI, you lose big time. You lose a lot. And if you already have a crore, so how can you, from a fast lane, how can you have a flat tire? For example, you have a crore probably. And after that, after seeing the 1 crore, what you do is you probably take out some funds from there. When you take out, even if you take out 25 lakhs from it, just imagine your compounding will happen on 75 lakhs, not on 1 crore. So in the next 20, 25 years, you would have lost a few crores. So just because you have a crore or two doesn't mean that you will get exponential returns. So I hope you get the importance of SIP, disciplined investing, waiting for your first crore, which will take a long time, sincerely and faithfully investing. Have you learned anything? Let me know, what did you learn from this video in the comments. Is there something that is doable or impractical? Now the question is, what about the future? Will you get the same returns? Now the future, no one has seen, but based on the way the country is growing, the GDP of the country, the way the companies are gaining, the corporate earnings, seems like seems like between 12 and 15% is practical. So if it is 12 to 15%, your first crore will take you, if you do a normal SIP, if you get 13%, it may take you 17 years for your first crore. But if you do a step up SIP, it will take you 14 years, 13%. But if you get more, like 15, 16%, with a step up SIP, you can still grow, you can still have your first crore in the first 10 years. So if you want to have your first crore at the earliest, stay away from loans, be disciplined, increase your SIPs, increase your SIPs every year. If you can increase by 15%, do it. Increase by 20%. If it is practical, please do it. If your salary keeps increasing, don't chase after shiny objects like a big TV, a big car, a big house, or whatever. Anything big will make your wealth small. So stay away from all that. Push yourself hard. The first 10, 15 years, if you do it, then the rest of your life, your crore will get added every 6 months, every 3 months, probably every month. Let me know in the comments. What do you think about this video? If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, if there is something missing, give me a thumbs down and let me know in the comments what is it. I would love to hear your comments, and I try my best to answer all my comments because I don't have a huge following, so I'm still able to answer your questions. Please do that. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. And I will see you very soon with another interesting video.